when you eat tomatoes.
Gross.
Well, this whole tray is tomatoes. Do you like spaghetti sauce?
Barely.
Is there one in each one? Okay, so then you're just gonna take your little finger and you're just gonna press in there.
They're the same thing.
And just press them together. Good job. Thank you for helping me.
You're welcome.
You know what we're gonna have to do soon?
What?
We're gonna have to order our ladybugs.
Oh yeah, we need to order new ladybugs.
Okay, looks like we have an entire tray of tomatoes planted. Thank you, buddy, for helping me.
You're welcome.
I can't wait. 7 to 14 days. These little babies are gonna sprout out of their little cells.
There's gonna be a new baby in town.
There's gonna be some tomato babies. Thanks for helping.
You're welcome. Don't forget to hit that notification bell and leave a like on this video and subscribe.
Yay! Thank you, buddy. I am so excited. Look at this day that we're having. I am finally up into the potager. I can't believe it. It looked like it was gonna rain all morning and the sun came out. I pulled my shoes on and I'm like, those tomatoes are going in today. And I'm going to be planting some of my peas, some of my beans, and maybe some cabbage and kale. So that may go in today. I'm super excited. And you'll see behind me, I have a big tray of tomatoes. I got another couple down on the porch that I've been hardening off. And those I started in the house weeks ago. And in reality, maybe I got too excited. They're a little big, they're a little root bound, and they've been crying in their little pots to let them out and come live in the garden. So today it's gonna happen. We have had some freeze warnings last week. But if it gets cold, I'll just cover them with cloches and it'll be okay. I think it's more important that they just get in the ground at this point. I challenged myself this year to grow all heirloom. Nothing but heirloom. And it was a little bit of a challenge. Of course, my go-to is Baker Creek seeds. I love them. Check them out on the online. They have a wonderful selection. And I just got a catalog and I would get in the bathtub and look at what seeds and dream about the potager this time of the year, which is so exciting to me because it's all about the possibilities, right? And the great thing about heirloom seeds is that you can keep the seeds from whatever you're growing, save them, and grow them following year. So these tomatoes behind me are case in point. 3 of those are seeds from last year, and I'm super excited. It was so fun. I don't know, there was something about saving the seeds and regrowing them, and why I saved them, because they were so delicious. One is called a Black Beauty tomato, and it's got a very tropical, fruity taste to it, a very sweet juiciness. You almost kind of want to eat it as an apple, and it was wonderful. I put in salads and things like that. The other that I'm growing again is those little pear tomatoes. If you've seen episodes, you'll see them hanging on this cattle panel behind me. So we're gonna be growing those again. Those were wonderful. I'm regrowing a cherry tomato, a very sweet cherry tomato that almost looked like a heart. And they were so sweet. It was almost like, I don't know, having dessert. It was an odd tomato to eat. So those are going in again. And then I'm going to be doing an heirloom from Baker Creek called Abe Lincoln. That's a huge meaty slicer. That's going to be amazing on my favorite treat that really says summer to me is when you can get those big tomatoes like that and slice them. Toasted sourdough with a little drizzle of olive oil, cracked pepper, salt. That's so good. That's my guilty pleasure for summer. So that's going to be happening. And then I have some of the go-to. So I'm going to be doing a wonderful canning tomato that is going to hopefully render me enough that I can put some spaghetti sauce up and things like that. Because I do like to do that in the fall. It's always such a treat. And then in the winter, when you pop that jar, it's like sunshine. It's like revisiting your potager or your garden when the sun was full and those fruits were growing. It's really a treat. So these are gonna be going in the ground, these sweet peas, some kale, the cabbage, my herbs are growing. Strawberries are blossoming, and I've got teeny tiny little strawberries. That is in the asparagus bed. So those are growing really nicely. If you need some great companion plants, if you followed me from last year, I planted the asparagus and the strawberries together, and they're a wonderful, wonderful companion plant because the asparagus lives low, strawberry lives high, and so they all get along wonderfully, and it's a great space saver as well. And I got 3 asparagus this year, so that was exciting. If you've ever grown asparagus, you know that it's not a big huge crop that you're. And lastly, before I get to work, because you can see that I've got some cleanup because I was a naughty girl. My heart was in the right place. Around September, I said to myself, you probably should clean your garden up because, you know, spring's gonna come, it's gonna roll around, and then you're gonna hate yourself because instead of putting your plants immediately in the soil, you're gonna be cleaning up. So my heart was in the right place, but if you know me, you know I show horses competitively. I went to the World Show last November. So much fun. And I came back thinking I was gonna hit the ground hard and get up here and get the garden going. But when I came back, it was really cold and rainy. And then it snowed, so I didn't come back up. But I'm up here now, and I guess my message is that bird wants to say something, I guess. I don't know what kind of bird that is. My message to all of this is don't stress about it. You know, if you guys did what I did, it'll be fine. Whether you cleaned it, you know, last fall or you clean it up now, it doesn't matter. What matters is you cleaned it up, right? And I know on YouTube, a lot of episodes that I know I watch sometimes I think, oh my gosh, that's beautiful. They've got it all together. But in reality, none of us have it together. We're all just trying to do our best. And my mama used to say, you can't eat an elephant all in one sitting. You know, you just gotta eat it one bite at a time. And that's a good analogy to live by. You know, don't stress. And when I put this potager in last year, I promised myself I was gonna enjoy all the steps it took to get where I need to get. And would it be really fun if it was all just done at once? Maybe not. So you guys come along with me and we're gonna get this garden cleaned up. Seems like there's always going to be cleanup no matter where you are in your growing season. Well, I got this one completely planted and I'm super excited. But while I was cleaning the beds before I planted the tomatoes, I thought of something that might help someone out there because it happened to me years ago and I've learned my lesson. Don't overcrowd your tomatoes. And it's really easy to do when they start out little, or even if you're planting from seeds, it's hard to guess how far apart. Tomatoes like their space. They don't like to be overcrowded and they need a lot of airflow to get in there and keep those roots from getting mold and mildew. And basically, if you overcrowd them, you're just ringing the dinner bell for disease. And then that's just an uphill battle to fight all summer long. One thing too that I wanted to show you, another tip, see how this tomato has gotten leggy. See how long he's gotten, and he doesn't have much below and he just kind of walk. He needs water too, but I wanted to wait until they were out here. Does he see those little hair follicles, right? Do you see them in there? Right there. You hold it a little closer. Those are actually roots. Those are actually future roots for the tomato. So an easy trick to fix the legginess is I removed this leaf section and this leaf section, and I'm going to plant it in the soil up to here. And you can see then now if this is in the soil, it's got stability. And then you can see up here it's got stability, and then it's going to put all of its good energy into a good healthy root system. Plank of wood that I got from Hobby Lobby, and it was 50% off, so I got it for 15 smackers. But I thought when I saw this, what a great tray this would make. You could even add feet to the bottom, and I have some antique drawer pulls that I think will be wonderful. They're kind of size, you know, they're good size where you can really lift it up easy. Or you could add legs, or you could do both. You could add the legs and the drawer pulls. I think I'm gonna give it a light coat of stain just to kind of seal it. And I think this will be so cute for a family style supper. You know, you can put your dishes down the middle. How fun is that for 15 smackers? I have one more thing that I'm going to be starting soon, amongst other things, but I wanted to share with you. I got a very special Christmas present from my wonderful daughter-in-law, Amanda, who's an incredible gardener. She so inspires me. She's just a natural. And she gave me a seed in a special seed box, and it's marked pumpkin seed, and I immediately knew what it was. Her parents grew the biggest pumpkin I have ever seen in my life. It had to be 400 pounds-ish, if not more. And it was so big that they carved the middle out, and the grandkids could get inside it. It was enormous. It reminded me of Cinderella's carriage after midnight, the pumpkin version of that. So she gave me that seed, so I'm gonna give it a try and see if I can get it going. I've not had good luck with pumpkins because the deers eat them. They eat them. So I'm gonna come up with a plan to protect that pumpkin. Say hi to YouTube.
Hey! I'm like cursing over here.
It looks so good, guys. So good. Very nice. It's exciting. Windows are in. Just about. Finishing them up. A little garden shed has its old vintage windows. There she is. She's all ready to be filled to the brim with gardening tools and whatnot, and I'm so excited. Now, if you notice, the windows aren't your usual window that you see in a shed. And the reason why is because they're not a regular window. They're actually a window that came out of a 1920s house. And so the sad part was the people were taking all the old windows out of their 1920s house, which breaks my heart. It just breaks my heart. They don't make glass like that anymore. And the windows are so heavy and solid, so they replace them with aluminum. But the good news is they're here at Winter's house, and so I'm super excited. You can see it lets in a lot more light, and the great thing is if you're having a shed built from scratch, you can ask your builder to make the windows custom to the old windows that you find, and it just gives them a little more character. Now we have a little situation that Caleb, the young man that put the windows in for us, he found a bird's nest. Look how wonderful. And the reason this is cracked is because there's a bird's nest right above it. And we didn't have the heart to move it because we were worried the babies would die because it was rainy and terrible weather. I might change the hardware on that door too, just to make it more fun. So every day I come out and open the window wide open for her, and then at night I come and close it up, and then come out early in the morning. So hopefully those babies are getting close. You can see the edge of the nest. They're getting close to being able to fly. There's a great loft for storage. The floor is gonna get a makeover right out of the get-go because if you can see, it's actually press board, and that is not a great thing to have on a floor because it's compressed sawdust basically. So I'm gonna, I think, lay brick. We're gonna do brick or some sort of paver on that just to give it some longevity out here in the garden. Now on this wall, there'll be a potting bench there that I can come in and work if the weather's bad, and a big cabinet from the mid-1800s I've been saving just for that wall. All my clay pots and whatnots will go in there, and seeds, etc. And the ceiling actually is gonna get a makeover too. Now they did the right thing. That's insulation that actually helps from the inside. If you've ever had a shed, sometimes it'll start building up condensation on the inside and then it drips down the walls and on everything. So this is a great thing to have, but I do want to kind of hide it. So I think we're going to put wainscoting perhaps on the top of it behind the rafters, maybe stain it dark. If you guys have ever done that, let me know because I need some tips, because it may be a moment trying to figure out how to do that. So here it is. Look at all the light that comes in from those big antique windows. I'm just crazy about it. It'll be a really great space too for the grandkids to come out and help their nanny garden and whatnot. And I love that. It's such a happy space, starting out with baby birds being born in here. So hopefully those little rascals will be ready to leave the nest, so to speak, soon. To get garden gloves stat. Yeah. Hope it comes off.